About to expose something that is 100% not shown to us in the mainstream history. A place that 99% of us have never heard of. That's in an article from over 100 years ago. And this is when the article tells us that when these were first discovered, they appeared to be heads above the ground. However, after excavation, some were found to measure 40 to 50 feet long, or taller than a 4-story building. And somebody was asking the right questions in 1964. When they ask, how were these carved, transported, and erected on a secluded island without metal or trees? And I think we know now that there was a much more advanced, most likely, much bigger group of people that were here before us. And I don't believe it was that long ago. 50-foot tall giant statues, over 1,000 of them, and in my opinion, replicas. Absolutely incredible stuff. And this goes even deeper, where a 1925 article from the Courier Journal gives us a map of a massive land called Mu. And it says the map is showing the supposed position and extent of Mu after Hawaii and Easter Island had been separated from it, where people migrated to Mexico and over to Asia. It also goes on to say the crosses on the map are the locations of stone monumental remains of the land of Mu. Okay, so we definitely know that there was more land here. And this is about to get really interesting. When it reads, in this land of Mu, according to Colonel Churchward, this was the Garden of Eden, the spot where Adam and Eve of mankind's beginnings lived. Now it tells us that this information is coming from ancient tablets, where he and an East Indian temple custodian have succeeded in translating. And this all coming to us in 1925. So 7 years later, in 1932, we have the San Francisco Examiner also mentioning this continent of Mu, giving us another map. Now, whether we believe that this continent was real or not, this is still information. When I find something that could give us clues for the future, I am not going to withhold it from everyone. That being said, this would make a lot of sense, since there is a massive amount of space between the Americas and Asia, Australia, in the Pacific Ocean. If this land was there, I don't believe that it was 13,000 years ago like they're telling us. I would say it's much closer to our timeline, and possibly sank when the mud flood worldwide took place. And this would definitely explain why they are finding these massive stone structures and pyramids under the water, and would explain where the Mayans came from and why they have stories regarding the destruction of Mu. And in this article, it goes even deeper into this narrative, where it tells us that this colonel went to central India and met with a high priest in a temple school monastery, where the priest in the 1800s showed him some extremely ancient tablets, which had been hidden for thousands of years in the temple vaults, proving, in my opinion, that these groups of people hold the knowledge. They know our true history and are 100% hiding it from us. The mainstream history that we are all told today, in my opinion, is a totally different narrative than what really took place here. And within this same article, we are told that an American archaeologist discovered in Mexico the ruins of 3 great cities. The city was covered with a foot of earth. And at the bottom of the article, saying that it was destroyed by a flood, showing more evidence of a worldwide mud flood, like we have mentioned. And we all know about Plato and how he mentioned the land of Atlantis. So I went and found a final article for today, an article that may give us a much clearer idea of where Atlantis really was and what it was really called. An 1899 article predating the 1925 article by 26 years from the St. Louis Globe. As we zoom in on this paragraph, we can see that it says that a doctor has spent 12 years in Yucatan studying the Maya language and digging among the ruins, where he has made some famous finds, where he says that the Mayans had the original Isis, the original Osiris, and the original Sphinx. They had a highly developed language before Sanskrit, where the Mayans lived in splendor, long before and long after that strange land, the land of Mu, which Plato has called Atlantis.